What's going on, guys? About to check out this video from Jamari. He did a video speaking on nasty Logan Paul. I don't like Logan Paul. For some reason, I like his brother more, right? Like, I think actually he's earned my respect with the boxing stuff, right? And just being dedicated to it. But Logan is just a scumbag. He's scummy to his own family. But let's check out this video, right? Apparently he's suing Coffeezilla. See what he has to say. Shout outs to Jamari.
So last year, one of the biggest stories here on YouTube was the controversy surrounding Logan Paul and his crypto NFT project that he dubbed as cryptozoo. Back in 2021, NFTs and crypto coins were the latest fad investments, and everyone wanted to get in on the action, spending their stimmy packages on something that resembles 5 minutes in Microsoft Paint. You had idiots buying PDFs of digital monkeys for the price of a very nice mobile home.
My man just got an ape. My man just got a bored ape. Can you believe it?
I just couldn't sit on the. I couldn't sit on the side
for like $700K. You just got a bored ape.
Back then, you had everyone from celebrities to digital snake oil salesmen trying to convince you that this was the next big thing in exclusive assets.
Every person, if you listen to this fucking remark,
I said, yeah, ask it be in the chat. You're gonna talk about Dr. Disrespect. If enough of y'all want to hear about it, I don't care. Why not?
Pop culture, current state of society show, and you've not yet bought an NFT, you're doing a big disservice to yourself.
In the end, most of these quote-unquote investors would either end up...
Yo, Gary V tripping. Nigga, yeah, I never believed in those damn NFT. I remember that was like a big thing where a lot of rappers was trying to get into it, taking pictures of like their like jewelry and then making an NFT out of it. I'm like, that's so crazy. And people was believing in it and buying in it. Not sustainable.
Up with egg on their face, losing all their money, and in some cases just straight up go blind due to their allegiance to the NFT. Yes, I'm serious. And obviously with Logan being a tunnel vision, ego-driven maniac, he wanted to break the matrix and blend cryptocurrencies with NFTs. And so that's how we got cryptozoo, which was advertised as a game where players could buy, sell, trade, and even hatch their investments.
We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro.
Handmade?
Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists, a development team that has to be wizards because you're dealing with blockchain, people's money, transactions.
Because who doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars on a poorly photoshopped image of a chicken mixed with a pug? How about a penguin mixed with a shark? Okay, how about a panda mixed with a cat?
People was really paying money for this. Wow. Thinking if they was about to catch a come up. Like this shit was Digimon. We handmade. This look handmade.
To combine over 500 fucking animals. You know how much
That's
time
a real
that takes?
picture too.
Yeah, the idea was half-baked garbage. Like, I don't want to see this hung up in your digital room or whatever their plan was. Either way, with Logan being one of the most successful influencers ever and him having an audience of millions, it's not hard to see how quite a few people got suckered in.
I think that's the most important thing we're doing. Kids are going to care about the blockchain because of my project. Imagine your first experience on the blockchain is with cryptozoo.
They allegedly raised millions of dollars by selling these NFTs and crypto coins, but in the end, the game was largely unplayable, and many investors were left not only disappointed, but also in the dark with no updates.
So I acquired a bunch of eggs, and I actually want to play the game. I didn't acquire the eggs with the intent of keeping them. I actually wanted to hatch them and see what I got out of them and play in this ecosystem that's been advertised or whatever, right? And then I can't do anything. It's not showing up on the website when I connect my wallet, et cetera, et cetera.
To be clear, it appears that Logan never took money out of the project and likely lost a lot of money on the venture in both creating and fixing it. But still, it's a horrendous look when he was the face of the project who put the entire team together, and then he just went radio silent while some of the individuals on the back end took their share of the bounty. To add even more
yeah, it was definitely stupid. Right, it was him trying to just capitalize off of what was trending.
Insult to injury, Logan would launch a newer...
That nigga need to stick to wrestling, bro. I don't need to see him do podcasting no more. I don't want to watch him do nothing but wrestle. He actually has a talent for that shit.
For a shinier NFT project called 99 Originals, which I really feel only added more fuel to the cryptozoo investors' growing anger.
The actual art.
So it's like a scam crypto webkins. I don't know what a webkins is. What? What? What's a Webkins? But yeah, I'm gonna assume that's like some new Digimon shit. That's all he do. That's all he. That's no, he do more than wrestle. This nigga do scams, podcasts. He got like a energy drink company that he's pumping nonstop. Nigga, like this dude is doing a lot of different things. He does have wrestling talent. I agree to that. Yeah, I actually seen him. I was surprised. My little brother was watching it. I'm like, let me see this shit. This nigga was athletic as hell. I was like, he needs to do this. Like, just take the bad guy role. You could be the heel, talk shit, and wrestle, my nigga, and you could be something big. You don't even need to focus on this other shit. But he's trying to get money. Like, I don't even think he has a passion for wrestling. I think that was a way for him to get bread, so that's what he's focusing on.
I can't stop thinking it's the only thing I care about.
Each picture is an NFT.
It all ties to my entire life.
This is where Coffeezilla comes in with his expose series.
Today, we're investigating Logan Paul's CryptoZoo, a blockchain game that made millions but never worked.
Where he claims that he got to the bottom of this scam and more or less forced Logan's hand in making him apologize and attempt.
I just looked up Webkins. Yeah, this is exactly what the hell he was doing. That's crazy. Yes, it's like that without the world. It's just the creation portion of mixing animals and all that stuff. And then that's it. And it's supposed to be money.
To make right on his previous promises, at least after posting a horrible response video where he tried to tear down Coffee's character entirely.
So in this video today, I'm going to be...
You don't remember Webkins. Do I look like somebody that was playing Webkins? 2000s game. In the 2000s, I was playing PlayStation. I was getting on that Monster Ranch. Was that 2000s or was that 90s? I think I had a PlayStation 2 around the 2000s. No, you know what? I was on that Nintendo. I was on Nintendo 64 in the 2000s, bro. I was on that 007 GoldenEye. But nah, I recognize it though. Once I just looked it up. For sure. I wouldn't be sitting there playing that game, but I just looked it up. I remember it now. To some extent.
Defending myself
I never played
facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. Coffeezilla, I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also your slimiest. We're going to handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
And a couple of days later, after receiving massive backlash, he would take this all back in fear of further damaging his reputation, as the court of public opinion had already...
You said GoldenEye was the GTA of his ever. Facts. I loved GoldenEye, bro. I knew all the secret modes. Niggas used to hate me. And there's a character that you picked. I think his name was Oddjob. Where, if you ran up on people, it was impossible for them to get you. I used to be straight cheesing with that nigga, bro. Pick Oddjob, nigga, I'll run up on you with the butcher drink. You can't even see me coming. Because he was like so short. It was like a cheat to the game.
He ruled him to be in the wrong.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal. I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire. The fact is that suing Coffeezilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my attention where it should be. Thank you, Coffeezilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation. And I mean that.
So he was emotional?
But over a year and a half later, Logan is now taking that message back, as he is now suing Coffeezilla and his production company for defamation. Plaintiff Logan Paul, a globally recognized entertainer, athlete, and entrepreneur, brings this...
Let me get some Logan Paul money. I'm all for it, my nigga. I'm all for defamation lawsuits. I think more of them need to happen.
It's defamation action against defendant Steven Fenderson, aka Coffeezilla, a self-described investigative journalist and quote-unquote internet detective with no actual journalism training or private investigator's license, to hold him accountable for maliciously...
That's why I laughed when he said investigator. I'm like, niggas gotta stop treating this YouTube gimmick shit like it's real life. And then come on in with some suspenders and a light. Y'all niggas think they're a detective. Y'all gotta stop. You can actually go and get a license for it. None of these YouTubers are doing that.
And repeatedly publishing false statements accusing Paul of operating a scam in connection with the troubled blockchain project called CryptoZoo. So once again, Logan is looking to not only discredit this man, but also run his pockets. Starting when he released a 3-part YouTube series on CryptoZoo in December 2022, and continuing into the present, Coffee has perpetuated a false narrative that Paul scammed and defrauded his own fans in connection with the project. Coffee has perpetuated this false narrative despite knowing it to be completely and utterly false in order to enhance his own profile and increase his viewership and income in the process. And indeed, he has done so despite being in possession of and purposely omitting from his series and related statements overwhelming objective evidence that Paul had, in reality, been enthusiastic about the project.
If that's true, then Coffee deserved the lawsuit. If that's true, and he did all of that just for the content, then he deserves the lawsuit, bro. Simple as that.
And deeply committed to its success, only to be deceived by several of the project's trusted advisors who turned out to be con men. To me, that all means that he's essentially now blaming Coffee for basically exposing the secret that this project seemed like a dead duck. And according to his video, people who were actually invested also agreed.
All you have to do,
nah, what he would be presenting is that Coffeezilla knew information that showed that maybe even Logan Paul himself was scammed and he was seriously trying to do something with the company, but Coffeezilla might have presented it as in Logan Paul scams. So if that's the case and Logan Paul himself was scammed, right, which this happens all the time. I think there was another case where a YouTuber by the name of I Show Speed, he got scammed. And in the middle of him realizing it was a scam during his live stream, what he did was genius. He was like, oh, wait a minute, and took like his shirt off and like put it over the mic or like the camera and made it seem as if, yo, I cut it off so nobody can hear it. And then he discussed, is this a scam with the company? And they admitted on live with the mic on that it was. That was his way of getting his fans like, yo, don't do it. Don't do it. I didn't know. Right. It could be that case, not with the extreme, I'm trying to help my fans out portion towards the end, but Logan Paul could have been scammed. He could have hired these people legitimately and thought this was going to work, and it didn't. And if Coffeezilla knew that and still presented it as if he was a scammer, then yeah, that's grounds of defamation, especially if you had evidence.
Tell us, look, there's something going on with this project. I'm abandoning it or whatever, before people got more and more trapped. When it came to actually doing anything, he just hid away from it.
Basically, the lawsuit goes on to paint Logan as the victim of the people he chose to man this project, even kind of admitting that Logan knew little to nothing about the intricacies of the blockchain and what it takes to make a venture like this successful. Regrettably,
why would he, Nick? That's what niggas don't realize. A lot of these creators or YouTube, they're just exactly what their name says, right? They're just they're exactly what their name says. They're not like none of this like fancy stuff, right? They're just YouTubers. They don't know nothing, nigga. They're just a name, right? It's the same thing as like celebrities. Some of these celebrities that you think Rihanna know anything about makeup, but she's selling millions of makeup products, right? Same thing with Beyonce, it's the same thing. That could be the case the way he just slapped his name on that and sold it. You think this nigga is in the lab and making those energy drinks? Come on. That is a high possibility. And if that's the case, Coffeezilla is in trouble.
Despite rightfully exposing,
because you didn't attack the company, you attacked his name.
The wrongdoings of Ibanez and Greenbaum in his YouTube series, defendant Coffee understood that accusing a celebrity like Paul of perpetuating a scam would generate exponentially more clicks, views, and ultimately revenue. And
kids, all of them, Rice Gum, Fam, David Dobrik, whatever his name, all of them, because that's what happens. These scam artists will come up to you, present it as if it was a real money opportunity or a sponsor opportunity. These people are not like professionals at business, so they don't know nothing, and they just agree to it. Word, just all I gotta do is come on and say everyone go subscribe. Look at the new trend that's going on, right? The pop the balloon or 20 versus 1. You look at that, and a lot of those they're doing like these advertisements for these fake apps that give you money. That's a scam. In fact, the biggest scam of it is that they're selling your data from your phone. That's the real way that they make money. They get into your phone, but you think you're making money off of apps and playing games. And what it is, they're selling your data and information to advertisers. But people don't realize that. They sign up. These people who are YouTubers get a huge chunk of that, and then they just could just disappear and act like they never did that.
And would increase his own profile. Coffee therefore titled his series investigating Logan Paul's biggest scam, and he proceeded to confidently tell his viewers not only that the project was a scam, but that it was a scam conceived of and perpetuated by Paul. The 3-part series was viewed tens of millions of times. Each of the videos remain among Coffee's most popular of all time, and the viewers and the public at large were captivated by the narrative of an unserious social media influencer who has supposedly used his fame to dupe his fans into investing money into a fake crypto project while always intending to abscond with.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't that just happen to Boogie or something along those lines with his dumbass? He signed up to promote some shit and it ended up being a scam.
With the money. It's just hard for me to feel absolutely any sympathy for this man Logan at all. I think he dug a hole and got mad when people saw what he was trying to stash in there. Like it's Coffee's fault that he apparently made some key mistakes in his own operation. The suit then goes on to explain.
That's crazy. Fair. It could be some mistakes. Which one is it though? He dug a dark hole and he tried to stash something, or was it that he hired the wrong people? Like, we got to pick one. All right, and it's gonna sound like I'm defending this nigga, but it's just because I know a lot, like behind the scenes about business and shit. Like I be dead studying this shit and watching it and looking at the history of businesses, and I know how a lot of this shit maneuver. This could, I guess you could say, it's his fault because he hired the people. But if he did not know, he could have been scammed as well.
Blaine Logan's buyback program, where he says he gave back over $1 million to investors. That was apparently completed in March of this year. Paul naively believed that his commitment to the buyback program would help him find common ground with Coffee in that regard. But Paul misjudged Coffee's motives. Even after Paul announced the buyback, Coffee simply could not help himself from dipping back into the well that had proven so effective in earning him viewers, attention, and revenue, both from his YouTube earnings, as well as an associated Patreon account that he used to solicit donations from subscribers. In the summer of 2023 and continuing into 2024, Coffee began publishing additional YouTube videos, which he also teased and hyped on Twitter, in which he again repeatedly claimed to the public the false allegation that cryptozoo was a scam and a fraud conceived and perpetuated by Paul. So basically, Logan is now suing Steven because he called him out for abandoning a project that he promoted relentlessly. To be honest, I don't really understand his motivation here, as to me the situation had really died.
So he finds out that a company he was associated with, or like a plan that he was doing, could have been a scam. He hired the wrong people. He decided to distance himself from it, and he's wrong. And apparently he gave $1 million to some kind of jank to pay it. That's the one part I'm like, wait, so he tried to make it right? Am I tripping? Anyway, yeah, I do think that this is pretty biased. I don't like Logan Paul my damn self, but it still seems
really died down by now, and he had went on with essentially this $1 million slap on the wrist, while still maintaining his status as one of the most popular entertainers, WWE stars, and he's still the face of the $1 billion drink Prime. I feel like by Paul. So basically, Logan subscribers. In the summer of 2023 and continuing into 2024, Coffee began publishing additional YouTube videos, which he also teased and hyped on Twitter, in which he again repeatedly claimed to the public the false allegation that cryptozoo was a scam and a fraud conceived and perpetuated by Paul. So basically, Logan is...
But I think that now is like, if people don't like someone's personally, or like they just don't vibe with someone, and now everything they do is evil, they've never right, it don't matter, they are the devil. And I think that's just a horrible standard on the internet. Like, there's a lot of people that I don't like. If I watch a situation where it could be possible that they're not as negative as it seems, I'm going to let that be known. right? I'm not just gonna like just everything they say or do is horrible. I'm gonna give you my honesty. And right now, I feel like with the information that's being presented, I think what Logan is saying is a possibility because I see it happen all the time. Because these YouTubers or celebrities are not actually in the office. Like they hire people to do it for them. He could have thought this was a lucrative business move, hired some people, and they were nasty. High possibility, especially within the crypto world.
Is now suing Steven because he called him out for abandoning a project that he promoted relentlessly. To be honest, I don't really understand his motivation here, as to me the situation had really died down by now, and he had went on with essentially this $1 million slap on the wrist, while still maintaining his status as one of the most popular entertainers, WWE stars, and he's still the face of the $1 billion drink Prime. I feel like absolutely no one was bringing this up anymore ever since the year began. Like even with Coffee dropping more videos on the situation, people had long decided how they felt about this. Yes, he took quite the paddling from the internet at Coffee's hands, but in my opinion, he totally deserved it and got off pretty easy here. So to bring this issue back to light, especially over a rather minuscule amount of money to him, is just beyond petty as he continues to make himself look like a douche. To me, he should either just move on or respond directly if you feel like you're that much in the right.
Y'all said, shouldn't we be watching for people doing better, not worse? I think we could watch for both. And I think that if someone is doing better, we should acknowledge it. Like with Jake Paul, I used to hate this nigga, right? I still think that part of his thing is to cause you to not like him, right? Especially now that he gets so much money from it. But like after seeing his commitment to boxing, I getting some form of respect for him, I was like, oh shit. He's actually taking this serious. I know as a martial artist, this is not easy. And he's putting his life on the line and getting in there with professionals, right? That could do a lot of damage. So he gained a lot of respect from it. A lot, right? But as far as Logan, I haven't seen that. I've just been seeing him be disgusting. I've seen him hate Christians. Like his hate for Christianity is on another level. But I still have to look at everything from situation to situation, right? I'm not just going to paint him as evil every time, right? Because he said a lot of things about Christians, like, but you know what I mean? I'm just going to, be honest. I think in this situation, what he's saying is a possibility. I don't think we should just brush it off because we don't like him.
Right to these new videos, if he really wants to damage Steven's reputation. The court filing goes through each video step by step, and the largest evidence to support their defamation claim seems to be the title Coffeezilla used in his 3-part series. But they even admit right here that Coffee presented the conclusion that these other bad people on Logan's team were more to blame for his project's failure than Logan himself. Those messages make abundantly clear.
But it wasn't presented that way. So I get it. I get it. It wasn't presented that way, though.
That Paul had nothing whatsoever to do with Greenbaum's illicit dealing and manipulation of the Zoo token, and to the contrary was outraged by it. Only then did Coffee reveal the full context of the text message he teased at the end of part 1, in which an unidentified individual accuses Paul of stealing $40 million in tokens and calling him a scam artist.
Logan, you stole 40 million in tokens from me. You are a scam artist. You are a liar, and you betrayed your own community. You aren't that guy. Logan replies, oh, trust me, bro. I am that guy.
The unidentified individual is revealed to be Greenbaum, who was the big scammer in the situation, if you guys aren't following along. And the context of the exchange is Greenbaum's complaint about Paul's efforts to stop him from manipulating the market for tokens and enriching himself at the expense of other buyers. To me, it's almost like suing someone for the way they chose to pace their documentary, because they didn't jump right out and say, hey, he's the bad guy, not the guy you necessarily thought was behind it all.
Nigga, if you present something as this guy's the bad guy, and then within it go, hey, but it wasn't him, it was these other people, and you whisper that shit, and then do multiple videos still calling out this guy, then it does present you're saying that this guy's a scammer, especially when the title says he's a scammer. There's no question mark. There's none of that, nigga. So yeah, I don't like that claim. I don't like that. Hit the like button, guys.
In other words, the full context of the exchange, which Coffee misleadingly presented to viewers as evidence of Paul's involvement in a scam, actually reveals the exact opposite to be true. Paul acknowledged that his investigation showed that unlike Greenbaum, neither Palm nor his manager, Jeff Levin, ever sold any of the Zoo tokens they acquired on Zoo Day, which even Coffee admitted was a huge surprise. Coffee acknowledged that this was perhaps the most important thing in terms of assigning guilt to those involved with CryptoZoo. So they kind of admit right there that Coffee pretty much said plain out that Logan was not the scammer, he wasn't guilty. Coffee also concluded that at the end of the day, the number one problem and the true boring reason for CryptoZoo's ultimate demise was Abanya's failure to pay the game developers on time, despite Abanya's also netting millions of dollars from illicitly selling of Zoo tokens. Coffee then asserted that Paul is nevertheless not innocent in all of this because he was the face of CryptoZoo and ultimately failed to deliver a viable game. The suit then goes on to say that Logan was upset because he thought they had buried the hatchet after they had made a phone call, but once Coffee continued to call him out for the slow pace of his buyback promise, Logan grew angry once again. They even cite Twitter and YouTube comments here, which is just hilarious to me. I mean, it says here plain as day that Logan is suing Steven over tweets, which is about the softest thing I've ever heard come from a public figure in my life. He, of course, is also suing him over the video series Pumpkin is suing Steven, which is just hilarious.
Comments is called Paul Evil. Are these like bigger chin? It's so hard to like realize that now because Twitter allows you to buy certifications and stuff now. Professional lion. So he was getting some backlash on. I can understand that. That is frustrating, right? Because people just believe whatever the popular narrative is, right? Even if Coffeezilla went deeper into it within the video, right? If it wasn't to a bigger extent to where he let it be known like this and this and this and this, then yeah, you would get some fools that would just go by whatever the title is, right? I don't think you should sue over that though. Nah. If it's to an extreme point, like if you're getting harassment and it's affecting your job and things like that along those lines, sure. But a few weirdos on Twitter, that don't mean nothing. Be honest. It's kind of like a casualty of war, you should say. It's part of the job.
To me, I mean, it says here plain as day that Logan is suing Steven over tweets, which is about the softest thing I've ever heard come from a public figure in my life. He, of course, is also suing him over the video series in its totality, as well as several subsequent videos Coffee released over the last year. He is seeking in excess of $75,000 in damages and is demanding a trial by jury. So we'll see where this situation goes. Personally, I think it's such a stupid move for Logan, whether he wins his petty cash or not. And winning this is also not going...
Nah, if he wins, bro, that means something, nigga. Like, what? If he wins, it means well, let me not say that. It means in the court of law, he's right.
To change anyone's mind who ready to decide how they feel about you. These celebrities and influencers think they can just magically keep shaking the public perception, and it's no longer working. Personally, I do want to shout out Coffeezilla. And
I agree with that aspect of things, but I still do believe that if Coffeezilla was aware that this stuff was not Logan's fault and still presenting it as such, I do think that that's wrong if that's what he did. But tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. Hit the like button, share the video as well.